The Astros are one win away from their third straight series road win, a big turnaround. They're doing this without Kyle Tucker. Yordan gets plunked again. And what is the Astros' true need in free agency or at the trade deadline? Let's talk right now.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
Hey there, and welcome into a special weekend edition of Locked On Astros. We're your team every single day. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. You can find me at X, Instagram, and TikTok at Htown Wheelhouse. You can find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook, where I'm always positive. Always Stros. Thank y'all for tuning in. America's not here right now. He'll probably be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk about another series win. And we're going to hit on three big things today. We're going to hit on how Hunter Brown actually helped the team despite his struggles early. How these three road series wins, why they're so important. We're also going to talk about the wild Friday night game a little bit. But the third real big thing I want to hit on is why I believe the Astros simply need to go after pitching. And I think the case is made on the field, as was a shining example on Friday night. What a wild game Friday night. Sorry we did not break in. Having some issues at the house. Went 48 hours without an air conditioner. And when your air conditioner goes down, it feels like the Houston Astros starting pitching rotation going down. Like, it doesn't feel like 7 pitchers on the IL. It feels like 700 pitchers on the IL. It was brutal. It was an intense 48 hours, but we made it through to come to this week where we've got Hurricane Beryl barreling its way to the Texas coast. So first and foremost, I want to say stay safe. If you get weather advisories that ask you to leave your area, don't be brave. Don't be a hero. Go somewhere safe. Get your dogs, get your kids, get your wife, get everybody. Why did I start with the dogs and the kids and then the wife last? I don't know. But seriously, make sure you're safe this week. Look, this series has been a fun series to watch. The 13-12 game was weird. But first, I want to talk about Hunter Brown today on the mound. Hunter Brown came out today. And look, some days you come out as a pitcher and you just have it. And some days you just simply don't. And so Hunter Brown was asked after the game to comment on his start and how he felt. And these are quotes from various sources. Brian McTaggart. There may be a quote in there from Chandler. I'm just trying to give people their credit. But this is what Hunter Brown had to say at first. He said, "I've been punched in the mouth before, and it happened today, and it will probably happen again." And then asked how he was going to react to it. Like, what do you do? He goes, "Well, I flush it. I get out." He goes, "Get out to the next one. The guys in the clubhouse, we support each other, and we are playing good baseball right now. So we just keep rolling." And that is key because Hunter Brown really has found his groove lately on the pitching mound. But we know that I guess all good things come to an end. I mean, look, Miranda couldn't get that 13th hit, would have been an MLB record, would have kind of been cool to see, but not against the Astros. So I don't mind him not breaking the record. But Hunter Brown, man, at first it just seemed like everything was going wrong. Joe Espada was asked like why he thought that Hunter Brown's pitches were so hittable. And he just said, "I think they had a pretty good game plan. They were ready for some pitches. I mean, they got on some fastballs. Other teams haven't been getting to, but the stuff was powerful. You got to give those guys some credit, and they put some good swings on them. You have to give credit to the Twins offense today for basically, for all intents and purposes, Hunter Brown in a normal situation would have left that game in the third or fourth inning. But why didn't he? Well, it's obvious. The game before was a bullpen game. And that was a crazy game because when you look at that game, the Astros used Sean Dubin 2 2/3 innings, Seth Martinez 1 1/3, Brian King 1 inning, Montero 1 inning, Brian Abreu 1 inning, Luis Contreras, who just got sent back to AAA, and Kyle Ort came up in his place, and then Josh Hader. So you use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You use 7 pitchers in one game. So your bullpen game essentially means that Hunter Brown had to come out and he had to deal. Look, when the Twins offense is on, they're on, but they are without their best hitter in Royce Lewis. He's on the IL. He's better than Carlos Correa. He's better than Byron Buxton. He is their best hitter. He's one of the best young hitters in the American League. So they're without him. But despite that, they jumped on Hunter Brown. They didn't let Hunter Brown settle in. And every time Hunter Brown would get 2 strikes, he would throw a curve or he would throw something out there, and they would just put their bat on the ball. And so that's going to happen. Yeah, it was a little rough on Diesel, but it's not the hits, and it's not the 7 runs that I want you guys and girls to focus on. Really, it's not. What I want you to focus on is the fact that he lasted 6 innings, okay? His 4th, 5th, and 6th inning, he threw a shutout. And I know it doesn't mean anything then. He still had 6 strikeouts. There was a lot of hard hit contact, but it was really the soft stuff at the beginning, the soft contact. And that's what Hunter Brown talked about. He goes, at the end, when you look at it, soft contact is what you want as a pitcher. But if they're getting soft contact, then it's hitting in between the guys and the guys aren't making plays, then it doesn't matter. Hunter Brown did a great job. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And he finished well. He went 6 innings. He should have only gone 3 innings. Again, he could have gone 3 innings and been booted out, but who would they have put out there? Because their bullpen was spent. Now, let's look at this. This is Hunter Brown. He's pitched 92 1/3 innings so far this year. They are second on the team to Ronel Blanco, and he remains on pace to surpass his career high of 155 innings, 155 2/3 innings total. Now, Hunter Brown taught at the beginning of the year the reason why he fell off, the reason why he struggled, was he realized fatigue messed with his mechanics. I don't think that's what's going on here, but Hunter Brown did an admirable job. He stayed in the game. He saved the bullpen, and he knows his teammates are there to pick him up. And like he said, you've got to wash it. You just got to put it behind you. You can't think about it. You just got to move forward. And that's what they did. So that brings me to I want to backtrack a little bit. The 13-12 game, the last time the Astros had a 13-12 game, it was game 5 of the 2017 World Series. It was an absolute shootout and barn burner versus the Dodgers, which they won. It was, game 5. But that game that the Astros played, they were up 3-2 in the second. It was tied 3-3 in the third. Then it was 4-3 Minnesota. Then it was 7-4 Houston. Then it was 8-5. Then they scored 3 more, 11, and they get to 13-5. And then the Twins go on a 7-run rally in the 9th. And what do you know? Carlos freaking Correa hits a grand slam off of Josh Hader. Now, it's wild because if you would have told me that the Astros and Twins were going to be in an absolute just slugfest, 13-12, I would say, okay, that's cool. The Twins had Pablo Lopez. He did have 6 strikeouts. He did go 5 innings, but he gave up 6 runs. And I would, I don't know. I just don't know that I would have seen the way that the game unfolded, to be quite honest with you, because it was just, I don't know if it's a game for the ages, but the Astros, I think they've scored double digits there in 8 of their last 12 or 13 games. I mean, they literally averaged between 8 and 9 runs a game in Minnesota. And not only was that a crazy game, you had the crazy catch from Loperfido where he leapt up, ball hit his glove, it ricocheted out of his glove, and he caught it with his off glove hand. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. You had a lot of good stuff happen in that game. You did have some bad stuff too. I'm about tired of our hitters getting hit by pitches. Altuve was hit. He actually went on deck today for the game, but then they sat him down. I don't know why they did that. But they were 8 for 17 with runners in scoring position in that game. Bregman hit a home run. Loperfido got the ground rule double. You had a multi-hit game out of Diaz, Singleton, Pena, Bregman, and Altuve all on Friday night in that 13-12 game. And then you go to today, you had one multi-hit game. Yainer Diaz has been hot at the plate lately, 3 for 4. But you've got some good things that have gone on. Next, I want to talk about why these 3 series wins, if they can win Sunday's game, is so important, because we've got the rest of July and August looming. This episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you always find exactly what you're looking for. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash, with all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. God dang it. I thought I cut that out. Thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros with your team every day. Make sure you check us out. Make us your first listen. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're listening, seriously, jump over. Hey, if you haven't done this, go to Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you think. We'd love to see your reviews. We'd love to hear your words. I met some new fans before these last couple of days. I went out to Sugar Land on July 4th with my son. Met some people that were fans of the show, introduced some people to the show. And so they hopefully they're listening this weekend. But thank y'all for supporting us. I appreciate it. Brett, today's rookie closer arrives 3 hours before games and does really good with these 3 outs. Hey, look, man, if you're talking about Mr. Caleb Ort, I think I called him Kyle Ort earlier. Caleb, I don't know why I want to call him Kyle, but Caleb Ort, look, that dude's a hoss, man. I don't know about you, but I saw that guy. I was like, holy crap, he is old school big body pitcher. So we may have a diamond in the rough there. And Contreras, I think in his defense, I think he was left out there probably a little too long. But the problem is when you talk about leaving a pitcher out too long in a bullpen game and you use as many pitchers as you use, it's not like you've got a ton of people that are there to warm up and come relieve him. So spare me with the people on, all the online coaches saying, oh, he should have pulled Luis Contreras sooner. Well, but who is he going to put in? You're going to put Dubon in? I mean, come on, we're not going position route. But the Astros, look, they survived 13-12. Today, they just didn't have it. Their bats were not hot. And, usually Joe Ryan does not do super well against the Houston Astros. He did go 5 2/3 innings. He did give up 3 runs. He gave it the 1 home run to John Singleton. He had 8 strikeouts, where Hunter Brown had 6 strikeouts eventually. But, Montero went in and did Montero things, gave him a couple runs, a home run. And then Ort came in and kind of, I guess, I don't want to say close the door, but he got the job done where, I guess in the end you had a chance. But look, the bottom line is this. You come back Sunday, you win this series. That's 3 road series in a row. The Astros had not been a good road team up until this road trip, up until this Orioles series when they're at home. Going on the road, we're like, they're going on the road. But the thing is, they're not playing very well on the road, and they are. And look, I've got some things in here that was noted by Chandler Rome about Kyle Tucker not being in the lineup. Okay. Before I do that, we've got to think about this schedule in this month, the Houston Astros in July, and what we have left, because after this game tomorrow, okay, we go back home right before the All-Star break, and we play the Marlins for 3 and the Rangers for 3. If you can beat the Twins, get a day off on Monday, and you can, I'm just going to say it, if you can sweep the Marlins and you can take at least 2 out of 3 from the Rangers, I'm fine with that. Because coming back from the All-Star break, you have Seattle right out of the gates and then the A's. If you can come back and come off of that break hot, and you can come off that break hitting, and you can come off that break taking it. Look, I'm not saying I revel in a player's injury, but I just saw that Julio Rodriguez is being taken for an MRI because of, I think, a quad strain. And so he may be out for some time. He hasn't exactly been helping them. And who knows, maybe they got some prospect in the wings they're going to bring up, and he's going to, wow us. I hope that isn't the case. But Julio Rodriguez looks to be down. He may be back by, after the All-Star break. I don't know what the extent of his injury is. But the Astros have before them a massive opportunity, because then you've got Oakland right after Seattle, and then you've got the Dodgers, a formidable opponent. But I've been seeing other teams, beating them up. And then you have the Pirates to end July. Because again, folks, when we get to August, it is a gauntlet. It is a bloodbath. And so we've got to come out smelling like roses out of July. Yeah, I'll get to the projected. And I'll kind of dabble into this before we get into our next segment fully. I do want to talk about Yordan Alvarez. Yordan Alvarez was, there's how many players? 5-6 players been hit in the last 8 games. Yordan's been hit 3 times. Altuve's been hit once, and his hand is sore, but it's not broken or anything. There's no bones broken. But this is what Yordan Alvarez said today when asked about his knee. He said, "My knee is pretty inflamed right now at the moment. I got hit in the same spot there a couple weeks ago, and the inflammation of that one hadn't fully gone away, but my knee's in a lot of pain right now." He said, "We'll see how I feel tomorrow." This is talking about his knee, and this is what Joe Espada said. Joe Espada said, it's a right knee contusion for Alvarez. When asked if there were any tests, Espada said no. Okay, so that's a good sign. It is a good sign that they're being honest with us, that Yordan's knee isn't a super big concern. But gosh, anytime I hear the word Yordan and knee in the same sentence, it worries me. So we've got to make sure that our guys stay healthy. All right. What is this? Brett, weather might be bad here in Houston. Yes. So will the weather affect the upcoming series? I'll address this, and then we'll go into our next segment, and we will talk about what the Astros may be looking at as far as not free agents, but trade deadline prospects. The only way weather would affect the series is if there were multiple warnings, there was an inability for people to get to the stadium. Look, if it's raining and flooding in Houston, they're still going to play. Now, people probably aren't going to show up to the game, but unless we get a direct hit, unless the eye of the storm is just south of Houston and we're getting the dirty side, it sounds like we're going to be getting the dry part of the storm to start as it makes landfall. I really doubt that you're going to see any stoppage of a series. And, hey, imagine, I don't know if y'all remember back 2017, whenever we had to move the series and we tried to switch a home and away series with Arlington, and they refused to do it. And so we had to go to Tampa. God forbid we would have to ask Arlington to let us, house a series there. They probably wouldn't want to do it, but I think everything's going to be fine. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be worried about the storm, but I don't think that the weather will alter the series. It's got to be something that's going to have to be like catastrophic, and we don't want that. But I think the series will go on as planned. We'll talk about who I think the Astros, or what position the Astros are eyeing, and I'll tell you why that is here in a second. This episode is brought to you by Stitch Fix. Go to stitchfix.com/MLB. Style so good you can feel it. You know the instant confident boost you get from the outfit that makes you look really good. Well, that's why I get Stitch Fix. That's why, because they're stylist. It's like they know me. They have a style ESP. They know what I want. They know the look I'm going for. And when I get it delivered to my house, look, I get to try it on. I get these 5 pieces just for me. I don't have to do the shopping. I don't spend hours driving somewhere, going somewhere, trying stuff on. I try it on. They have my sizes. And look, if I don't like one of the 5 things, I can send it back. There's no additional cost. That's right. Style that makes you feel good and look good. Now's the best time to get started with stitchfix.com/MLB with $100 off your first, basically $25 off your first 4 fixes for a limited time. So go to stitchfix.com/MLB for $100 off. Make sure you redeem that within 7 days of sign up. This does not include children's clothes, but do that today. And make sure you listen to Locked On Astros on your way to work, on your way home from work. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you listen to the Locked On Astros postcast and so much more. So check us out. But look, here's the deal. This is what Chandler Rome had put this out on X. I guess it was before the game, and it was when it says last night's game, it's referring to the game that was on Friday. And this is what he said. Last night was the Astros' 27th game without Kyle Tucker. They're scoring 5.8 runs per game and averaging 9.9 hits per game in his absence. Yesterday was the 15th time in those 27 games the lineup has had 10 or more hits. And he goes on to say in his article, this is why the Astros clearly should be looking at pitching over hitting. Okay. You should absolutely, I think we take off the table Christian Walker. We take off the table Vlad Guerrero Jr. We take off the table any bats that are out there. I know they say they want to add a bat, but you absolutely need to gain and get a pitcher. You've got people on this staff that can do it, but again, you're going to be reaching that fatigue level possibly for Hunter Brown. Ronel Blanco is going to be pitching more than really he's ever pitched in a season in the majors. We know the majors is a little bit more stressful than AAA. But look, speaking of AAA, Jake Bloss had his first outing today out there in AAA, and I believe he got 2 strikeouts on the mound. He looked good out there. He actually got his first strikeout as a AAA pitcher. Why? Because he skipped AA. And so his rehab start was the first game he ever pitched AAA. I was actually supposed to go to that game, but life happened and I had to take care of some other things. And hey, I wanted to come on and talk to you guys and girls. So thank y'all for stopping by. This series, this road series, these last several games without Kyle Tucker, if you would have told me that with Kyle Tucker being out, that this team would be as successful as they are, runs wise and hitting wise, I would say there's no way, because Kyle Tucker was really the engine that was getting this offense going. And without him, Yordan stepped up. Of course, Yordan got hit again. The Astros seem to be getting hit a lot more. There's a lot of hit by pitches. I don't know that there's a conspiracy. I know there's a lot of people saying that the Houston Astros, they're being targeted. And I'm just like, I don't know why, but why would someone want to target a team that's second place in the AL West and not even second? I mean, they're still 3 games out of the wild card, the last wild card spot. But I think the bigger discussion has got to be what Justin Verlander brought up back in 2016, 2017. And when I got to interview him this year, was that baseball. That baseball is like holding porcelain. I actually spoke with one of our pitchers on the 40-man roster. I spoke with a father of, one of the players, and he said it's amazing how the ball has changed and gotten slicker over the years. And he said that ball, if with the humidity, with the sweat, with you not being able to, put things on the ball to grip it, he goes, it is so hard to control where that baseball is going sometimes. And this, they said, I remember my son several years ago, you had to get a little bit of sticky stuff on there. And once you did that, you kept control of it. You weren't worried about injuring or overthrowing. And now you have to do everything you can just to keep the baseball with the good grip. So you've got to hold it. It's almost the same conversation that we saw Glasnow having when he went for Tommy John. And he said, every time I grip the baseball, because I'm having to press down on the ball to create spin, that's putting strain on other ligaments and tendons in my arm. So anyways, I just thought that was an interesting conversation. But there are some guys that could come up from AAA. AJ Blueball could come up. He's pitching well. I think Jake Bloss, as soon as he's ready, he'll be back up. I think Dubin may be the odd man out whenever they do that. I know they want to make Dubin into a starter because of the injuries. We still have gotten no update other than throwing it 60 feet for Justin Verlander. So even Blummer mentioned that wasn't a slider that got away. It was a fastball to the knee. So, I mean, look, maybe that pitch right there. Yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing though. How do we grade intent? Okay. How do we grade intent with these clubs? And I mean, I don't know, I just look, I'll let y'all have your opinions. I'll have mine. I don't think every time a player's hit that it's intentional. I just don't. Now, I think if you have a player that's hit more than one time, like Yordan Alvarez in a single game, I think you absolutely come back and go old school and put one between the shoulder blades or on the hip or something. You don't headhunt. You don't try to hurt them. You put them. You put a baseball squarely in a place that they'll remember that you don't hit our guy. And I think there needs to be more defending of our players than I think what we've seen. But honestly, how do you gauge intent? How do you gauge a pitcher? Like, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that every single time a batter is hit, that it's intentional. There are, to me, things that are no excuse. Like, how are you throwing that far inside and hitting his knee? Okay. I just, that same knee that was hit a couple weeks ago. So they failed taking him out yesterday. So maybe that's what they were doing today. Ryan has control. Look, I'm not saying Joe Ryan didn't hit Yordan on purpose. I'm just saying every time a player's hit on purpose, I don't think there's some conspiracy and everybody's out to get us. Like, I don't like that victim. That's a victim mentality. Oh, poor me. Oh, look at us. Look, they're picking on me. I'm a Houston Astro and they're calling me a cheater. What? Okay. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you one thing I do want to say something about. All the Minnesota fans that were cheering for Altuve when he went down and cheering for Yordan when he went down, that's trash. I mean, you can boo our players all you want to. I don't care. I don't care if you boo Altuve. Please do that. But when you cheer someone getting beamed by a baseball, whether it's inadvertent or on purpose, that's jacked up, man. Like, that is so jacked up. And I mean, that's the kind of behavior I expect out of Yankees fans in the bleachers, but I guess Minnesota fans in the bleachers too. I guess if you're in the bleachers at just about any ballpark, that probably tells you what kind of fandom those people have. It happens in Dodger Stadium, happens in Yankee Stadium, happens in Chicago. Now, I mean, it's everywhere. The bleacher creatures, I guess we'll call them. But look, guys, I don't have much more. Basically, the Astros need to go after pitching. They need pitching. They need pitching. Their offense is going to be fine. When Kyle Tucker gets back, even if it's after the All-Star break, even if it's August, he'll be healthy. He'll be ready to go. And I think this team is really putting themselves in a good place. The Mariners lost today, so that's a good thing. Thank you, Blue Jays, for putting up some runs. So we stay the same distance we were, even though we lost. We could have gained a game, but we didn't lose a game. So he goes, not poor me, poor Yordan's knees. Oh no, trust me. Look, I'm just as upset and mad when Yordan gets hit or Altuve gets hit as you guys are. I'm just saying, because I watch every game. You guys probably watch every game. There's no point getting all up in your feelings because, look, you don't know the intention of that pitcher. Look, sometimes I think a lot of times it's dirty, but what is me ranting about it on this podcast going to do? It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to make me feel better. Joe Ryan's not going to go, oh man, you know what? I better make a media apology because Wheelhouse said something on Locked On Astros. It's neither here nor there. You know what I like? I like that we have Houston and Astros in our name, and nobody else can call themselves the Houston Astros but us. But hey, for myself, for everybody here at Locked On Astros, thank y'all for tuning in for a special edition. Y'all are the best. Y'all are the real MVPs. And like always, we couldn't do this without you guys. So thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good one. Eric and I will be back Sunday, hopefully after another series win. And we will be on the air. Look, as long as we got electricity, y'all, we aren't going anywhere. We're not going to let a storm stop our show. Y'all be safe. God bless. Y'all have a good one. And I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. We are out.